Hey guys, this is Mix, and today I'll be doing a review on a new tank that just came out in the markets recently. This is the Goblin Mini by Untitled. Did you guys see it? Okay, and here is a quick sneak at it setting on my Nuki box mod. Now you guys have to excuse my eyewear right now. I know it's not that appropriate. It's not really sunny outside, and it's been raining the past few days here in the Philippines. Please understand that the only reason why I'm wearing this is because I haven't had enough sleep, and I don't want to scare you guys off with all my eye bags and darkening of eyes and shit. So just don't mind the glasses. Okay, now this was sent to me for review by the guys over at Vaping Triad. So they're a new online vape shop who sells via Facebook. I'll be posting the link to their page down below on the description box so that you guys can check it out, see what other products they're carrying. But basically this is one of the newest products that they have right now, and I must say right off the bat, this tank or RTA really hits the mark. That's because of three things. I need to get good vapor production, I need to get the warmth of the vapor just right, and of course I need to get superb or excellent flavor. Normally I'd get those out of RDAs, but for tanks it's been quite a struggle for me. Usually I just get 2 out of 3. Now I know many of you guys would disagree since there are a lot of new RTAs out on the market right now that could actually give you those three factors that I just mentioned. But for me, even if I get 3 out of 3 for an RTA, it still comes down to how big they are. But for the Goblin Mini, I mean, it's small. It gives me 3 out of 3, and sometimes I even forget that I'm using a tank. So basically that's it. Anyways, I'll be going more into detail. I like it, the pros and cons. There are quite a few cons with this one, but overall I'd still say that this is a first for me. First time I've ever come to like any tank type atomizer or RTA. So we'll be going down into the close-ups first, and we'll talk more about the Goblin Mini. Here's what the Goblin Mini's packaging looks like. Okay, it has Goblin Mini engraved on it, the UD logo. Underneath, other information like their website, has a barcode. Okay, so nothing special with the box. But right here, you'd have the authentication sticker. Let's open it, see what's inside. So when you open the box, here's what you get. You get a specification card, has all the information about the Goblin Mini there. Okay, anyways, I'll be posting all of these information on the description box below, so you could always check it out there. So here's what's inside. You have the Goblin Mini RTA already assembled. Just put that aside for the time being. You have a spare Pyrex strip tip. Of course, a spare Pyrex tank. Inside of that, you have a plastic full of other spares and parts. Okay. Anyways, I'll be breaking all these down for you so that you can see each and every part of the Goblin Mini. So, be back in a few, okay? Here are all of the Goblin Mini's parts. As you can see, there isn't, that many parts for this particular RTA. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to briefly go through each and every part just so that I could tell you what they are for and which goes where. Okay, so you have the Pyrex strip tip. You have the Pyrex tank or sleeve. You have the atomizer deck. You have the inner chamber. This is the chimney, the top cap. This is the single coil adapter, and this is the 510 adapter. Let's start with the deck. Here's what it looks like. has single O-ring at the bottom. Okay, now this is specially designed to hold the tank or to keep the tank in place. It's not threaded. Later on you'd see how it actually holds or keeps the Pyrex tank in place once we assemble it. It has a single positive block with 2 holes. Negative posts are milled onto the deck. As you can see, the hole sizes on these posts are fairly large. Believe you could easily fit in lower gauged wires in these holes. If you're a single coil lover, don't worry, because that's why it comes with the single coil adapter. I'll show you later how to install this and what it looks like once it's installed onto the deck. So capable of doing dual coils. Now they didn't mention this on their product specification. I also wasn't able to find any info about this on the website, but if you could see, I do believe this is a peak material insulator. So here's what it looks like underneath. You have this airflow lever. So this is for adjusting the airflow. As you can see, this is fully closed, and if you move it to the right, it actually starts to open up the airflow. Okay, fully opened and fully closed. Okay, so basically it's like volume control. Set it to the left, it says minimum. Put it all the way to the right. It's gonna fully open the air holes, and I'll be setting it to maximum. Okay, so for me that's gonna be a pro. Okay, now the 510 pin on the Goblin Mini is adjustable, so this is actually a good thing, and it is threaded onto another metal part, which is actually good since you have a much more sturdy connection. Other 510 pins are threaded onto the insulator underneath, so they tend to wear out or wear out the insulator much faster. Okay, another good thing about this is, if you could see, this actually looks like it's silver plated or silver coated. Okay. Then we go to this part. This part I can't even begin to explain how I really find this quite troublesome. This is how you refill the e-liquid onto the tank. It's by removing this small screw. As you can see, it goes all throughout the other side. This is basically the only way you could actually refill e-liquid. However, I did find, or I made it a point to find a different alternative to putting e-liquid in, because again, this for me is just not acceptable in my book. This is the chamber. It has Goblin Mini engraved onto it. Other side you have the UD. This fits onto the deck like so. Okay. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, one other good thing about this deck, as you can see, it has 4 massive juice channels. So this is basically one of my pros for this atomizer design, or RTA, is that the juice channels are really big. I've had experience with other tanks wherein you'd have to block the juice channels with a bit of cotton just to avoid leaking or flooding. But with this particular atomizer deck design, you no longer have to do that, and it wicks perfectly fine. Okay, so you have 4, 2 for each side, and that would be 1 for each end of the wick if you're running dual. If you're running single, that's where this is gonna come in. This is the single coil adapter. Okay, all you have to do is plug this in one of the air holes, like so. So it blocks one of the air holes and it also blocks two of the juice channels. Okay, pretty cool, right? And it's perfectly well designed. As you can see, if you put on the inner chamber, threading is smooth as butter. Okay, so far I've shown you 3 parts, all well machined. Although one other thing I don't really like about the base would be this. These are quite sharp, and when you're trying to remove the tank or trying to disassemble the atomizer, yeah, they tend to hurt your fingers. So I wish they could have maybe rounded it a bit more. So this is gonna be another con for me, but again, all subjective, doesn't really affect the performance anyway. So next we have the chimney. Here is the chimney section. This part goes in here, threads into here. This is the top part and is also where you connect the Pyrex strip tip. So how this fits in is you just have to screw it into the inner chamber, like so. Okay, it's threaded. Okay, to assemble it, you need to put in the Pyrex tank. Okay, so it's just gonna sit on top of the O-ring, but nothing is gonna hold it down as of yet. That's why you need this one. This is a top cap. Okay, so what the top cap does is it screws into this chimney section here, and it pushes down the Pyrex tank so that you get a tight fit. Whoops, the O-ring came out. Okay, it also has an O-ring, of course, to avoid any leakage, and this would ensure an airtight connection between the parts. I'm not sure if I got that right. There we go. Okay, so it just screws in, and that would actually hold the Pyrex tank in place. Just make sure you tighten it down. Okay, so this is where this little con I mentioned earlier, this is where this actually starts to get annoying. When you're trying to tighten down the top cap and of course the Pyrex tank, you don't really have enough to hold on to the bottom part. So this sharp ends, you know, they tend to go against your thumb or your finger. So yeah, that hurts. What I usually do is I get a piece of cloth to ease the pain. Okay. One other part that we haven't mentioned, this is the 510 adapter. As you can see, this Pyrex drip tip does not have any O-rings, and this is not a standard 510 size drip tip. So if you want to use your standard 510 drip tips or your favorite 510 drip tips, all you need to do is use this little guy here. This is the 510 adapter. No O-rings because it's already inside. All you have to do is just attach it on the top. You may get a bit of a gap there. Very easy, just give it a twist and the gap will disappear. Okay, so if you have one of your favorite drip tips, again your 510 drip tips, mine is a bit dirty, sorry for that, you could then use it with the Goblin Mini. Okay, but I prefer to use the Pyrex drip tip because it gives it more swag, if you get what I mean. Now, in the event you've already worn out one of your O-rings or lost a screw, don't worry about it too much because you have spares. The only thing about this particular RTA is that they seem to have become quite conservative with their spares. As you can see, you only have one of each type of O-ring and one of each type of screw. So just be careful with the parts. I don't really think you'll be having any issues with the parts anytime soon. As I said, I'll be showing you guys how I actually refill my Goblin Mini. So first of all, you have to remove it from whatever mod you have it attached to, and then you have to remove. Okay. So what we're gonna be removing, let's remove the drip tip first. We're gonna be removing the top part, or the top cap. Okay, see? Okay, what you want now is you want to unscrew the chimney just a bit until you see the threading come out. Okay, but still enough threading inside the inner chamber, you know. Okay, it popped out. Okay, you need to have at least enough threading inside the inner chamber to still have the chimney attached. Okay, there you go. Okay, next step, since this Pyrex glass tank would now be easily removed because you don't have this holding on to it anymore, what you need to do is press it, you have to press it firmly onto the O-ring. Okay, so again, this is tricky, but once you get the hang of it, I believe this is actually easier. I mean, for me, this is easier. So press it firmly onto the base. Once you've done that, hold it with your thumb and your index and forefinger. This would only become tricky if the outside of the Pyrex tank is saturated in juice, because then everything's gonna become all slippery and stuff. So make sure you wipe it first. Okay. So once you are sure that you're holding that firmly in place, you now can proceed into putting in the e-liquid. Okay. So all you have to do is put the e-liquid onto the side. Okay, let it flow in. Again, you have to make sure you have a firm grip on the onto the Pyrex tank as well as the base of the atomizer. Otherwise, all of that e-liquid that you put in, that's gonna come flowing right out, and you're gonna have a bad day. Believe me, already happened to me once. Okay, slowly put in the e-liquid. As long as you're holding it firmly, nothing will leak out from underneath. So even with this method, you can even, you know, fill up the tank completely, as you can see. So I'm just gonna leave a bit of space there. Don't want to waste a single drop of e-liquid here. Okay, now what you have to do is you get your top cap, put it on top of the threaded part of the chimney, and slowly turn it clockwise. That would then begin to thread itself and lock the Pyrex tank sleeve in place. Okay, now you want to make sure this is tight, again, to avoid any spillage of e-liquid. Okay, so it's a bit slippery, so I'm going to use this microfiber cloth to help me tighten it down. Here we go. Okay, just a bit more. Okay, there you have it. Successfully put in e-liquid without having to unscrew this part and using the fill hole, because then you'd have to use again a needle tipped bottle or a syringe to put in your e-liquid. Okay, again, like I said, this for me is the easier way, but if you're fairly used or you have no problem in using this, then by all means, I mean, that's what it's designed for. Okay,